All right, we are live. And for tonight, we are having Mr. Jayson Law. If you're tuned in on Discord, you might want to prepare your questions for him tonight. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's it's a little bit earlier than 8 p.m., but I wanted to go online around 5 minutes early. Tonight we have Mr. Jayson Law, and I'm sure some of you have received my emails or you've gotten my chats on Discord where I tag everyone. And we have questions that you can ask him. It's going to be an interesting talk because not only am I going to be the one asking the questions, but I can see we already have a lot of questions here for Mr. Jayson Law in the Discord channel. I just think it's going to be a very interesting night and a lot of learning, even for me. So, Jayson is here. Jayson, I'm going to add you to the stream now. There you go. How are you, bro? I think, yeah, there you
Hey,
go.
brother. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hear you and are can you try going on Discord as well? The audio.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear
There you
you from StreamYard, but let me just turn off my audio on my output actually on Discord para hindi mag-feedback.
go.
So there are people on the Discord channel. If you could see the Ask Me Anything, if you're on Discord now, there's an Ask Me Anything channel.
Mm.
If you
Right,
join
right.
there, people who are tuned in via Discord can hear you. So there are some people kasi they're driving or they're out, they can't watch the video on Facebook or YouTube. What they do is they just go online on the Discord channel and this gets streamed live to them as well. So yeah, no problem.
Fantastic. We're also on Facebook, right?
We are on Facebook and on YouTube, but we don't accept questions from there. We just accept questions from the Discord channel.
Yeah.
And that's because we wanna filter it, and it also gives a really good benefit for people from the leadership staff community because they join the community. They are the ones who deserve to have their questions answered.
Mm.
So yeah, bro, how are you? You look busy.
I just came from a phone call and a meeting. So it's
Yeah.
an exciting proposition to enter a new market, the blue ocean market. I can't reveal it yet, but it sounds promising.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Daming opportunities ngayon. New opportunities, new markets, new projects. Sometimes I feel like I have to already turn down a lot. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's the same with you.
For
Yeah.
me, it's more of a reset button because now the industry itself and a lot of industries are changing because of machine learning, AI, and automation, and you have to keep up.
Mm.
So as you know, what I do before the pandemic is more on live events, but now we're all online,
Yeah.
and this is something that I wanted to do 3 years ago. In a sense, how can I create? a program, a system that would turn my trainings, my talks, and automate everything. So now I'm in
Yeah.
the process of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Medyo napilitan na tayong gawin yun.
Wala choice.
Walang choice. Pero it's a good thing, no? So,
Yeah.
brother, I'm just going to, I don't know if I can do it to add you. No, I can't. You have to click on the Ask Me Anything talaga na channel dun sa Discord. I could see you here, you're online, but you have to click on that like you have to click on the Ask Me Anything na word. Click on the word and you're gonna be there.
Where is
So
that?
I'm gonna share my screen. And we are doing this live, guys. So if you want to learn how to do it, this is it. We're gonna be doing it right now. So here's the Discord channel. Here's where you are, so I can see you
Mm,
online.
mm.
And then here's what you click on. Mismo itong Ask Me Anything. And so people
Okay.
are already here, and they're tuned in already, and they want to listen into this episode because
There you go.
yeah, because of you, brother.
Is that it? I'm in.
Parang hindi pa. Wala. Your name should appear here. So Ask Me
Ask
Anything.
me anything.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, just click on it. Let me see. Yeah, you're already inside, so I can't invite you anymore.
Okay.
If you can't go here, because people who are tuned in from Discord couldn't hear you, so only people on Streamyard could. So for those of you who are watching from YouTube or Facebook, this is the Discord channel. We have over 100 people in the channel already in the community. So if you could join us here, please do so. The link is shown in the banner from the chon.c/discord. It's free to join. This is where you ask your questions for me or for my guests. Like for tonight, we have Mr. Jayson Law. You can ask questions about entrepreneurship, about public speaking or the public speaking scene, what's happening right now, is doing webinars still going to be worth it, things like that, and also what he's doing next. Maybe if he's not too privy about that, I'm sure Jayson would be very happy to share. And he has a new podcast as well. We are going to talk about that in a few minutes. So again, this is the Discord channel. People are coming in over here, and this is where people ask questions in the Ask Dash Anything questions section. You could also promote your business questions. Promote your business here. If you're running a business, you have a startup, you can promote your businesses here to the community. We want to learn about what you're doing. We want to support. We also are looking for suppliers. I mean, I'm looking for suppliers all the time. So if you want to join the community, it's free, and you can just post here, join in here, tune in here whenever we have LS Live or whenever we have a new podcast published on Spotify. We will also notify you here. The Leadership Stack podcast on Spotify has broken through more than 1,100 followers. Thank you so much for being a part of that. I really appreciate it. It's been a year since I started last year July. And if you guys know the first episode, it was really not that great. I mean, the audio was horrible, and it was just me and my brother and my wife talking about how we handle millennials. We were just really casually talking about it, and we were also sharing our opinions, our experiences, because our team is a very young team. I'm a millennial, everyone's younger than me. We handle around 50 of them. It could get rowdy, emotions could shoot up. And so we talk about how we handle millennials, why they leave often or early and jump jobs, what causes that, how do you prevent that. That's the very first episode. The content may be good, but the delivery has a lot of things to improve. Like my microphone was echoing all over the place, and it wasn't all that great. If you've ever heard the first ever episode of Leadership Stack, that is the first episode. So, for those of you who have joined the community, you can ask your questions. I have a long list of questions here from Patrick Miguel. Patrick, thank you so much for questions. I'm sure most of these are for Jayson, not really for me, but I am also interested in asking him a lot of questions. So, I'll make sure that I go through your questions first. We have Jazz here tonight. JC is here again, bro. Thank you again for being here. My balita. All right, great. I look forward to hearing that out. We have Tyrone also tuning in. I think I know you. So thank you for being here. We have Cedric Choa. Thank you for being here. Um, Jazz. All right, and Jayson, we're let me know, bro, if you need any help in getting into the Ask Me Anything channel. So all you need to do is click on this one, and you're in.
Say hi, Kat.
Hi, Kat.
Hey, can you hear me now on Discord?
Um, you have to be
Can't see
here,
you.
bro, in the Ask Me Anything.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
there you are.
Hey,
All right.
great. All right. So I just have
So
to turn down the volume.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
or what you can do is change the settings to Discord.
Hmm?
Go to voice and video, and then the output volume, just minimize that to zero.
The input volume.
Output, the output.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So yan, wala na yung feedback. All right, fantastic. We have set that up, guys. It took us 8 minutes. Mabilis na yun. All right, so we only have an hour, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. So I'm going to start, but first I want to talk about your podcast. Jayson has a new podcast. I'm super excited. Nakinig na ako sa first episode, bro. Congratulations. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in the podcast?
Hey, thank you. You are actually our inspiration. I think among the group, you are the very first who started the podcast a year ago, and congratulations for that. For me, it's more of trying to look for a different type of show, and I think I got the concept together a few months ago, wherein I would talk about different aspects of life. You know how familiar we are with unboxing videos from shoes, gadgets,
Yeah.
toys, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
like unboxing life, but adding a unique component, which is the unique behavioral styles, the four types. So every episode, I would include an element of that is
Yeah.
connected to the topic of that episode.
Galing. And then I just want to give the credit to my brother, my younger brother, dun sa starting a podcast. Because he always wanted to start one, and sabi ko, yeah, I feel like I should do one because I have so much to say and I want to pass it on. And um, he hasn't gotten around to doing one yet, but I keep on encouraging him now. But really, he wanted to start like years ago, like 3, 4 years ago. He has a pilot episode with some friends, and pero hindi pa natutuloy ulit eh. So ako naman, sabi ko I have to be consistent. Kailangan laging may episode, and I just ran with it. And during the lockdown, a lot of people did podcasts. I
Hmm.
mean, I get guests from this platform called Matchmaker.fm. So my podcast is there. If you want a guest, they just contact me. And usually some people would drop a message or two every month or every other month. That's it. So every month parang may international guest ako who will tell me, I want to guest in your show. I think your questions are good, blah blah blah. And when the lockdown started, bro, I'm getting like 5, 8 requests every month already.
How many do
Consistent.
you
So, 5 to 8, siguro mga like two guest requests a week,
Mm.
more or less.
And you
Ang
did
good thing
all of
about
them?
it is, sorry?
You accept all of them?
No, not all. May mga iba parang kaka-start pa lang, wala pang creds talaga. Tapos
Yeah.
what he or she is doing is not in line with the Leadership Stack podcast.
Right.
Sometimes they hire PR firms to look for good shows to guest in. That's
Mm.
it. So maybe the PR firms did not really do a lot of research about the Leadership Stack and how it aligns with them. So we do reject some, and then some naman talagang nagsispray and pray lang sila. So, minsan di na nagre-reply, that's fine. Usually with one good guesting, we split it up to 3, maybe 4 episodes, and we publish only 2 episodes a week. And that
Mm.
includes this Leadership Stack Live, where we also split it up to 2 or 3 episodes. So, we have episodes all the way till the new year already. Hanggang
Wow.
end of
Wow.
January nakalinya na.
Galing,
So,
galing.
but it's the production team really who's really good. No, my job is just to talk, create content like this, record it, that's it, and then sila na bahala sa lahat. So I'm blessed to have them.
Right, right.
So the first question, I'm going to unahin ko rin kay Patrick Miguel, no, kasi siya yung unang nag-submit, tas ang dami niyang tanong. Maybe we'll start with how would you describe yourself in just one sentence? Should be a long
Um,
sentence.
Maybe one word, unique.
Unique. That's it. Yeah, that speaks volumes. That's your branding. Second question is, how did you start your financial journey?
Like most entrepreneurs, I started very excited. And a lot of upstarts start out that way, begin that way. You're very excited, full of ideas. And I was a ready fire aim guy. And it worked to a certain extent. But when you reach a certain level wherein it's more risky, let's say the size of your company is bigger, then you have to be more careful. So yung nagsimula ako, I started with very small businesses from selling gift items. Dati hindi pa uso yung internet eh. Ginagawa namin, we would go to houses of our friends who are quite rich and they don't have time to go to the mall pag Christmas. So ginawa namin nag house to house Tiangge kami. We would go to their house, to their places and bring like 50 to 100 different items. So mga sample namin yon, and then pag nakita nila yon, okay, kuha ko na to. Give me 5 of that, 10 of that, 20 of this. And then that week, same week, we would deliver the items to them. And then from there, kasi ang pinaka-importante talaga, we talk about investing, we talk about passive income, but the most important would be earned income. I saw a post, I think yesterday, asking what's the difference between working hard and working smart. It's impossible to work smart if you don't work hard. So in working hard, you get to find ways to work smart. Same thing with money. You start small and then you start earning bigger. But when you start earning bigger, you have to find ways to put it back into the business. So that was one of my first businesses, and it helped me in terms of managing finances, kahit maliit lang. Tapos dealing with people, dealing with partners. I was 21 that time. I was 20 years old when I started that business.
Grabe, you started early. That's very good. And you would know more about, for those of you tuning in, you would know more about the story and the continuity of that. I think, bro, you're gonna share that in your podcast as well. So the next question is: did you grow up with a well-off family? What are the best memories you remember as a child?
Well, no, I didn't come from a well-off family. Ano kami? Um, Nasa ano kami, yung lower B siguro. But I came from a family whose businesses went really bankrupt. So epic failures. I learned a lot from their experiences, from the garments industry. Uh, I actually wrote about it in my in my book. And then my uncle, they're pretty rich, but also ended up that way. Lost everything. They used to own yung time na hindi pa uso yung mga super malls, meron silang parang department store na. They were like SM that time, when SM was still very, very small. So yung mga ganon. So yung nakita ko yon, it really taught me a lot. But we actually become more like our parents, or if we don't like them, we completely choose the opposite of what they do, of what they have accomplished or done. So sa akin, sabi ko sa sarili ko, I will be an entrepreneur because my dad worked for a long time for one of our relatives. And sabi ko, hindi ako magiging ganon. Yun din yung naging problema dahil masyado akong nagmadali. When I was just starting, I masyadong malakas yung loob mo. Nag-invest ka, tapos you're using too much leverage, too much good debt, until finally it's like a house of cards crashing because you didn't do your homework. Tapos naisip ko, binalikan ko yung dad ko. Sabi ko, marami rin pala dapat ako natutunan sa dad ko in terms of frugality, in terms of playing it safe once in a while. And I should have not, I should have also, dapat inano ko siya, yung really looked into it and appreciated what my dad did too. So that's probably something that I can relate to with my family.
Galing, no? And actually, that answered the next question is, how does your childhood affect your view towards life and money? So I think that kind of answers it in a way because, sometimes ako rin, I'm guilty of that. I look at my dad, how he worked hard. And then, one day I asked him, why is this your business? Yung hardware. He distributes hardware to the provinces kasi. It's very hard. It's a very difficult business kasi you would drive to Batangas, to Zambales, mag-aalok ka ng hardware, paint, sandblaster, pipes, and then they would buy bits and pieces. You wouldn't sell a lot, and then you would have your truck deliver there. It's a pain, and my dad told me na, I didn't graduate college, and this is the only business I know how to run. That's why this is what I'm doing. Pero yung respect ko towards my dad in doing that, kasi pinalaki niya ako Chinese style. Grade school, nagbubuhat na ako ng gamit sa bodega papuntang truck. So, it was very difficult work. That's what I can say. And him doing it up until today, grabe, wala akong masabi. Wala akong masabi.
I think when you asked me the question, medyo I was thinking kung paano ko siya sasabihin or if I should. But yeah, well, kasi when my dad worked for our relative, nagkaroon ng conflict. And I think you're familiar with that, no? Lalo na sa Chinese, pag mga Chinese, usually, how would I say this? I'm not generalizing, and I guess it's not just for the Chinese, but may mga culture tayo na when you are prospering, you are moving to the next level, it's as if the one on top of you should be your biggest fan, but it doesn't turn out that way. Kaya nakita ko yung instance na yon, and medyo naging negative sa akin to work with relatives, to work with family, which is a wrong mindset dahil hindi naman lahat ng families ganon. I mean, there are a lot na nag-work yung relationship nila. Kasi ang katwiran is, okay, kapag business partner yan, nag-close yung business, you don't see each other forever, it's okay. But if it's family, The business is having problems, you're in your family reunion, pag-uusapan niyo yan. Like those business, magkikita kayo parate, di ba? Tapos sa
Yeah,
doon, hindi kayo nagpapansinan. So, ang hirap.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. No, it's hard to
Kaya,
be family and professional at the same time.
yeah. But those who are doing it, well, my I tip my hat to you guys.
By God's grace, bro. By God's grace. Ano, mabait kasi yung mga kapatid ko tsaka yung wife ko.
Kala ko ikaw yung mabait eh.
Hindi. Hindi ako. They know it. My people knows it. Sila yung, no, honestly, hats off to them. Na they can handle me. They can keep me in a leash when I'm in a bad mood. So, ganun lang. Parang talagang, ang maganda dun, when you work together, mas nakikilala mo yung tao eh. So,
Hmm.
mas alam mo when to back off and alam mo rin when to be aggressive in giving advice or in telling the person na don't do that. Okay,
Mhm.
so there are instances na gano'n na I told one of my family members, don't do that because that's gonna burn the team if you do that. And sometimes they listen, good. If they don't, then I share to them these are the potential consequences. Mapag-uusapan naman. It depends on how you handle it.
Hmm.
The next question, Jason, is how did it feel to reach your first million?
Well, it was both exhilarating and I can't understand this question before. One of my mentors would always tell me, you should know how much is enough. You should know how much is enough. Because it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. But when I reached my first million, for me, ever since I knew that it's gonna happen, I remember I bought my first car when I was 22 years old, and I bought it in cash. Didn't borrow money. And yung dinadrive ko na yung car, nakita ko na yung reasons ko of earning, of buying a car, hindi siya hindi siya tama. Kasi I was trying to prove myself to others eh. See, sabi nyo, I can't make it, but I can. And eventually,
Yeah.
I'm reminded of LeBron James when he was in Miami. When he was in Miami, he was the most hated athlete in any sport. And then he was
Wow.
playing out of rage kasi he was trying to prove himself eh. Diba, they were being ridiculed. Well, kasi nag-form sila ng super team. He left Cleveland. So
Mm-hmm.
sa akin, parang ganun yung nangyari. And then he realized in the middle of his tenure there, of his stay there, na he was he wasn't enjoying the game anymore. It's like life was being sucked out of him. And then he changed his mindset and then started playing with the right motives and intentions. And then that's the time when they started winning championships. So sa akin, ganun din siguro yung nangyari when I stopped caring about what other people think. And I know that's a day-to-day thing, day
Mm-hmm.
by day. Kumbaga, yan ang isang challenge ng lahat eh. Kasi it's
Mm-hmm.
like a barometer for you eh. And that's the time when I enjoyed making money, when I stopped caring about what other people, what other people's opinions are.
Galing. And it's
Does
it's
that make
always gonna
sense?
be a temptation.
Does that make
Sorry.
sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. And for those of you listening, and you're not sure about why you're doing what you're doing, and you think that you're doing it to prove yourself to others or to show that you can do it. I'm telling you now, if you're able to achieve that, it might feel good for a very short time, but after that, you'll look back and say, "Wow, I wasted all of that time trying to achieve that for others, not for myself." And it's not worth it. No. Um, Shout out to Labaz Timo. Thank you for being here from Facebook. No? And yeah, we appreciate each and every one of you here tuned in from Facebook and YouTube. If you can go on Discord, that would be amazing, and you can ask your questions here. So I'm going to jump on another person asking, and the question is, what are your thoughts of getting further studies, like an MBA or master's degree? Do you think it's still important for an entrepreneur? This is by Cedric Choa.
As long as you're doing it for the right reasons. Kasi madaming mga nagtitake ng MBA for the wrong reasons. They think that it will add, di ba? It will add more credibility sa kanila. But if you're doing it to really learn and to upgrade, enhance yourself, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. You can pursue it. Ang challenge kasi with MBA, mas maganda meron kang entrepreneurial background. In my opinion, meron kang entrepreneurial background kasi MBA teaches you how to be a good manager, a good manager. So if you start with an MBA, wala kang business, you become a good manager. But if you're an entrepreneur, then you get an MBA. Now you have a business, and then now you become a better manager, or you have an idea how to scale your business. Then it would be it would be parang two sides of a coin that you will feel. Kasi may mga kilala ko yung ganun mga tao, yung ang galing sa mag-manage, ba? Kikita nila lahat ng mga dapat mong gawin. Pero if you ask them to start a business, they can't do it. They won't be able to do it. And then you meet an entrepreneur na walang capital, walang managerial, walang alam sa management and those stuff. Pero biglang after a week may negosyo na kakagawa ng paraan. So yung street smarts and book smarts, and also the competency. There are three. This is from the E-Myth Mastery. I forgot the title. He shared there the three qualities of an entrepreneur. So he mentioned the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. So the technicians are those who does the dirty work. You do yung ginagawa mo yung labor, hands-on. Manager naman is the one who creates the system. The entrepreneur naman is the one who has the vision, who sees the future and find ways to get there. May mga entrepreneur yung magaling sila sa yung lang na yon, quality, being an entrepreneur. The majority of them are technicians, but they're not managerial. Meron naman iba managerial lang, pero walang entrepreneurial, walang vision pagdating sa business. So yun yung kailangan natin iuwi. Kasi sa totoo lang, MBA is good, but there are millions of people who has an MBA degree. So if you're just looking at it to add credibility, well, yeah.
Galing, that's a really good answer. That's a really good answer. And it's true. I do agree with you 100% with managerial. Managers are people who are good in creating systems and also maintaining status quo or improving it. It's difficult for them to maintain or improve a status quo if there's no status quo. And that's why it's difficult for some managers to be entrepreneurs. And then as an entrepreneur myself, I also find it not my sweet spot to manage people or to create process documents, maintain the status quo or improve it. I'm not a good manager. I may be a good leader. I may be good in disturbing the status quo, and that's why I have some clashes with my siblings sometimes because they're great managers, and when I come in the team, medyo sinasabihan ako na lumabas ka dito, umalis ka dito, no? So I'm too disruptive, and getting an MBA might help with that if you want to improve your managerial skills. But yeah, very good answer.
I'll add na, Sean, babalansehin ko lang yung sagot ko. Kasi kaya ko siya sinishare, no? Yung maganda, may business ka na or you're more entrepreneurial. One of my relatives who owns a huge business. Um, yung kausap ko yung relative na yun pag may mga occasions kami, may family occasions kami. Okay, ganda ng conversations namin, business parate. And then after he took an MBA, nakita din niya no how to manage his business better. So creating the systems, and it also allowed him to establish mga contacts. So for him it worked out dahil yung ano niya, yung motives niya, objective niya is to find ways to create a system, especially when it comes to numbers. It helped him. So there are pros and cons din pagdating diyan. Siguro pwedeng example, pag nagda-drive ka ng kotse. For me lang. This is my opinion, ah. Parang nagda-drive ng kotse. Kung drive ka ng kotse, kumuha ka nag-aral ka ng driving class, then okay yun kasi nakakapag-drive ka ng car. Pero pag driving class ka pero wala ka namang kotse, makakalimutan mo yung paano mag-drive, and then you will tell people how to run their business without really understanding how they've set up the business. Di ba maraming mga consultants na ganyan, yung magaling, pero hindi na nakikita na, ikaw nga mag-start ka ng ganyan, kaya mo ba?
Yeah, that's true. Agree. Galing. The next question for you, Jayson, is what are your top 5 favorite books given you have a lot in your background? Oo nga, ang dami mong books dyan sa background. And hindi nyo alam, pero actually yung buong room ni where Jayson is right now, sobrang daming books dyan.
Well, iba-ibang mga books to. May mga homeschool books din dyan. Books of my kids. But I love books. We have a lot of books. Sorry, what was your question? What books do I recommend?
Top 5. Yeah, top 5 favorite. Yeah.
Except the Bible. Religious, no?
Pwede mong idaya yon pag wala ka nang maisip.
Oo nga. Mali. Dapat in-include ko muna siya sa list. Well, too many to mention. If you will ask, siguro more on yung genre, then I can give you a better answer. Wala akong talagang top 5. Dami kasi But well, there's one book that I read every year. The title is The One Thing by Gary Keller. Tama. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Gary Keller is the name of the author. So The One Thing, I read it every year to give me better perspective. I think it's the best time management book that I've read. Or hindi nga time management. It's like he simplified how you can move from looking at the clock to looking at an internal compass or using an internal compass. That's one. The One Thing. Tapos, another book would be, well, of course, Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. They consider it as a Bible of communications. John Maxwell's book is good, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is another good book. But, yeah, kasi hindi ako masyadong dun sa values ni Kiyosaki, no? But that's a really good book. Tsaka yung book niya na Cash Flow Quadrant. More of mindsetting, how to change your perspective from an employee to an entrepreneur. And finally, another one, dami. Grit. I love Grit also, by Angela Duckworth. The Power of Persistence and Passion. It's a really good book.
Great, and I've read 4 of those except for The One Thing, so I'm gonna buy it on my Kindle soon after we end this call. I should read that. You're the second guy who recommended that to me. 2 of those books that Jayson just recommended, I've recommended also to past podcasts, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie and John Maxwell's The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And all of those books, all of the four books, including Grit and Rich Dad Poor Dad, I do highly recommend that as well. Question from Jazz: is there a best leadership personality, or what for you is the best leadership personality?
Hey, great question. I'm actually coming up with a program this November based on my book, Unique, Understanding Others by Understanding You. By the way, the title of my podcast is also Unique, The Unique Life. And one portion there, we will talk about leadership. Leadership is mostly about styles, and there's no one style that is better than the other style, but it depends on the situation and the context. And the best leaders are those who can be more flexible, because he who is the most flexible has the most influence, and leadership is about influence. Kaya kung marunong ka maging flexible, um, makakatulong yun sa'yo as a leader. So that's my answer to that.
Her follow up question is: how did you know that you want to do public speaking?
Oh, um, you know, I I ran two programs this in this pandemic. So one is, hindi ko pa pala niraran yung Unique, nararan ko pa lang siya this November. But another one is my speaking program. It's called No Dull Moment. Um, and I share there how I started. I really hated speaking. I hated speaking, but I was forced to speak because when I was young, I became part of a direct selling company, and they would force me to go to speak on stage to be able to relate to the younger audience, to the younger demographic. So ako yung pinakabata that time, and kung alam niyo yung rotonda sa Shangri-La, Shangri-La Mall Hotel, meron din yung pa-circle. I would drive around that for like 5 to 10 times and think of an alibi. Sumasakit yung tiyan ko, masakit yung ulo ko, hindi ako makakapunta. But I never missed an event. I was scheduled to speak, and I would always be there. Kulang na lang sumuka ako dun sa stage. No? Hindi nga butterflies in my stomach. Mga bubuyog. But that's also si Sean hindi nakaka-relate siya, no? Kasi very highly confident so when he speaks, di ba? Ako hindi. I needed a lot of practice, and I hated speaking. That's why I don't believe in the saying yung follow your passion, kasi it should be follow your hard work, or like Mark Cuban says, follow your effort. I nagsispeak ako, I was really bad, speak ulit, I was really bad, speak, and then I became a little bit better, I became better, and before I knew it, I didn't know that I was gonna be here today. So, yun yung sa akin, I followed my hard work. So, in speaking, you have to really, that's one. Another is I have mentors who helped me along the way. Mentors would cut your learning curve into half. Sinasabi ko nga siya, di ba, yung story natin, no? Ako, I got my first pay sa isang speaking engagement after 10 years of speaking. 10 years. So, lahat yon mga free. Yung mga ginagawa ko before.
Grabe. Sipag mo, bro. At sipag mo.
So, maganda, may business ako, di ba? I don't need to earn from it. And little did I know that that's where I'm gonna be placed.
Yeah. So, just to redeem myself, kinakabahan din ako sobra. Especially in the first few years. Super. But I didn't hate it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to become better. And how I got a lot of gigs naman, speaking gigs and inquiries, is through SEO. So I ranked for Filipino motivational speaker. I just tried out that keyword. It's the most searched for keyword before, And sabi ko, why don't I try to rank for that? And I ranked somewhere top 3. Naglalaro lang ako top 1, 2, 3 during that time. Ngayon medyo napabayaan ko na kasi yeah, ano na, I have to turn down some speaking gigs na ngayon because of business and the pandemic and everything's a lot of things are going on right now. In a lot of things are in my plate, but that's how we started. So very different. But I completely agree. Follow your effort. You will know where you're getting better at, and that's where people will pay you because you have a lot of value to give. I have a question from Sarah Santonia, and this is directed towards me, so I'm just gonna insert it here quickly. Sarah, if you're tuning in, your question is how will I monitor clients' payments since each client have different payment terms and agreements? What app or method should I use? When I was starting out, I used Excel. That's it. Nothing fancy. Microsoft Excel worked for me 100%. When my client base were getting too bigger and bigger, and it's too much for me to handle, and then I have my accounts management team na, so I'm not handling all the billings, I'm not handling all the clients. For me to track all the payments, I use FreshBooks. That's a web app, and they have a mobile app as well, but you have to pay certain amount. It's just a small amount. You can check it out. FreshBooks, it's an online web-based accounting system. So I do pay for my FreshBooks account, and that's how I track. And it also bills my clients automatically, and it follows up automatically if they haven't settled their payments yet. Although syempre kailangan mo pa rin tawagan kasi iba talagang delinquent magbayad or matagal magbayad. So tatawagan mo pa rin, you have to follow up with them personally. But that helps eliminate a lot of the legwork for me and my team in tracking our payments and billings. And some client would pay annually, some client would pay half of the contract. Most of my clients pay monthly. So we track it via that application now. But kung kaya ng Excel, kaya ng Excel. Tipid muna kung tipid, di ba? So it's up to you how you want to do it. But it's no, if you're thinking there's like a technique, strategy, tactic, there's no magic to it. It's just Excel, and that's all I used. I would check it out, check back at it every week. So hope I answered that question. Um, Next question for you, Jason, would be how are you confident in speaking in front of other people? How are you not awkward?
You have to do your homework and you have to know your audience. So before I speak, I study my audience, who my audience would be. So for example, I think that's one of my strengths as a speaker. I can speak to different groups from top level to masa, from students to CEOs, entrepreneurs. And it's learning how to speak their language. So in other words, for example, I will talk about, let's say, leadership. Sabihin mo, sa corporate, leadership, you need to have your own vernacular. You need to have your own language. So that's corporate talk. Pero pagkausap ko na ang mga let's say middle managers, you have to believe in yourself if you want to be a leader. Diba? Kasi if you don't believe in yourself, other people won't believe in you. So kausap ko noon mga estudyante, talk about leadership. So ano bang natin, tropology natin? Sino bang mga katropa mo sa yung mga matatalino, yung mga basagulero? So it's like, how can you deliver the same language to different kinds of people, the same language, share it effectively, and kasi ang number one quality of a good speaker is really about passion. And I'm not talking about a rara emotional type of passion. What I'm talking about is the passion for their topic, knowing it inside out. And this is a study that they conducted, and they found out that among the 500 plus top TED speakers, the most popular, that's the number one quality. It's really passion. So ang passion, importante siya, no? you care about your topic, you love your topic. Because speaking in a way, it's a transfer of emotions. Eh. But what's more important is getting your audience to care about what you're talking about. And it takes time to do that. It takes a lot of preparation to do that. But once you get it, kaya importante yung topic na pipiliin nyo, you're passionate about it, but also find how you can be different, how your topic can be unique from others.
Galing. And so I completely agree with that. No, you have to know your stuff. If you don't, if you're not completely sure about it, you go on that stage, it's gonna wreck you, and you're gonna stutter, you're gonna be unsure, maraming and it's like a vicious cycle. The moment you lose confidence in yourself because you're not sure about how well you're delivering this topic that you supposedly are a master of, it's gonna ruin your talk. So next question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of starting up at an early age compared to starting up later in life? This question is from Jazz. All of those questions are from Jazz.
Maybe you should answer that first, Mr. CEO at 22.
Okay. I think I did at an earlier podcast, but starting up early, the advantage is for me. This is my opinion. Don't have a lot of risks that are hinged on your back, so you're not thinking of paano na if this fails, paano na yung wife or yung kids ko. Because if you start up early, you don't have a wife and kids yet, assuming you're just having to take care of yourself, like I did when I started. Those risks are not hanging on my head because it's risky enough to start a business. It's risky enough. Even if you know your stuff, it's still risky enough because you're gonna put your money on the line, your name on the line, your brand on the line, and you are gonna sooner or later have to hire people, maybe rent an office. There are expenses that you have to pay, and emergencies happen. There are some things that might not be something na inaasahan mo, tapos mangyayari siya. And do you have to pay for emergencies? Yes, you have to pay for emergencies. So it's risky enough. But when you start early, I think that's the biggest advantage because you learn a lot. You can make mistakes because your risk is not that big in terms of people who you have to take care of. When you start up later, that's the biggest disadvantage. Now, advantage in starting later. if so my if statement tayo, if you're intentional in evaluating your experiences when you were younger, then starting up later will almost guarantee success. Almost guarantee. You have a lot more chances of making sure that your business is successful if you intentionally evaluate your experiences. If not, it's still no advantage to you starting up early. Now, that's my opinion. Bro, take
Pabata,
it away.
pabata ng pabata. So your son there, CEO at 15 na yan.
Kung sana lang para retire at 30 na ako. Retire at 40 na ako.
Yeah. Kasi pag nag-start ka ng early, marami kang matututunan. And the earlier, the better. The earlier, the better. Sa age, here's also the flip side. You won't be too young or too old enough. You'll never be the right age unless you just really do it. Kasi kahit na anong gawin mo, sabihan ka ng bata, ay bata ka pa eh. Ako I know I look 32, but I'm 42 now. And hanggang ngayon, sinasabihan pa rin ako ng mga tao na bata ako. 45, bata pa rin ako. Pagdating ko ng 50, I'm too old already. So, 55, 60. I mean, Colonel Sanders of KFC started like 65. And yung iba, a lot earlier, a lot older. One thing that I actually read it somewhere, sa dami minsan ng mga binabasa ko, nakakalimutan ko tuloy, no? This guy is speaking in an event and his topic was about success. And he was asked the question, so what is the most important thing that you will teach my child about success? If it's just one thing. Sumagot siya, I will teach your child how to fail. What? But this is a success seminar. Yes, but they will fail and might as well teach them early on. So sa buhay kasi meron tayong three kinds of experiences na dapat magawa natin. Una, be an entrepreneur. Pangalawa, be an employee. Pangatlo is join a non-profit. This is not a formula kasi I think hindi ko alam kung si Sean naging employee, no? Hindi siya formula, pero yung three experiences na yon would help us. Kasi pag nag-start ka ng business, whether maliit lang yan, whether fishball, or maliit ang fishball, pero yung fishball sa my wife graduated from UST, yung nagbebenta ng fishball doon, napag-aral niya lahat ng mga anak niya, napagtayo ng bahay dahil sa fishball. So, kahit yung mga maliliit lang, ma-experience mo siya, paano mag-handle ng pera, in and out ng pera. Tapos yung pagiging naman, empleyado, kasi sometimes it's difficult to to lead if you haven't experienced being an employee or hindi mo na experience being under someone, right? And then yung pangatlo naman is join a non-profit. That's how you build leadership. Let's say nag-start ka sa church, nag-church ka, mag-volunteer ka doon. Kasi pag naging volunteer ka ng church, hindi ka susundan ng mga tao dahil hindi mo naman sila sinesweldohan. Hindi sila susunod sa'yo because of that. They will follow you because of your influence. Kami before, no? I go to Victory, and this was in the early 2000s. When I joined there, we were like a few ushers. Tapos, nag-set kami ng isang event. Ang dumating dun sa event, 5 tao out of more than 200 ushers. 5 tao. So sabi ko, I think we have a problem here. Kasi leadership Yung ginawa namin after 2 months, binuild namin yung relationship sa mga tao. And then, nag-event kami. Ang dumating na ngayon, 80. Tapos after that, dumami ng dumami. Tapos, yung time na yun, merong isang well-known actor na nag-join ng ushering. From 200, naging 400 kami. But that's another story. But, you see, yung leadership skills mo, nagagamit mo siya. And then, you will be able to use that wherever you go. So those are the 3 things that you should consider experiencing.
Galing. I learned a lot from that, no? So, kung gusto mo paramihin yung team mo, mag-hire ka ng actor. Joke lang. pero ang galing. That volunteering. So, yan ang ituturo ko sa mga anak ko rin. So thank you for that, bro. We have the next question from Celeste.
Yeah.
How do you start your day so you can stay focused on your goals?
There's a process when you start a day. 2 good books out there is The Morning Miracle, and then another one by Mel Robbins, yung The 5-Second Rule. So when you start your day, kasi yung morning natin, it will actually dictate what your whole day would be. So if you don't start your day right, first thing in the morning, then you won't be able to, to maximize your whole day. But start your day right, yun na, dire-diretso siya. When you wake up in the morning, itong pwede nyong gawin, use the 5-second rule, parang rocket ship. And she has a TED Talk, Mel Robbins. It's been viewed by like millions of times. And this lady is not just an ordinary speaker. Her speaking business now has reached more than $1 billion. Tapos, yung nag-speak siya sa TED Talk, 18 minutes ang TED Talk, di ba? Nasagian lang niya yung 5-second rule for like 20 seconds. Pero yun yung natandaan ng lahat ng tao. And she mentioned it in the 18 minute mark. So pagsalita niya ng gano'n, di nakaisip siya ng book about it. Sobrang simple ng idea, no? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take off. She was broke and didn't know what to do, 40 plus years old. Tapos nakakita siya ng rocket ship na nag-launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kasi yung brain natin, na ano tayo we're attracted to patterns, di ba? And then we tend to follow that follow-up pattern. So yung nakita niya yung pattern yan, sabi niya, the next day I will use this. When I open my eyes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then no matter what happens, even if I don't feel like doing it, I will stand up and start my day. Ako, I start my day as much as possible, no, reading the Word. I read the Bible every day. I think I got this idea from Tim Ferriss, yung 20-20-20. Yung 20 minutes spiritual, 20 minutes you read the book, more of mental, tas 20 minutes naman physical exercise. So that's one way also. But ang pinaka-importante is to start a pattern. And as much as possible, don't break the chain. Si Jerry Seinfeld was interviewed. He wasn't interviewed, but this is from in the One Thing book. Natanda ko na rin kung saan ko siya napakinggan, nabasa. Yung author, he shared this story. Nasa circuit pa si Jerry Seinfeld. He was one of the most popular, most successful comedians. He was earning $1 million per episode of his Jerry Seinfeld show before he decided to retire. Pagod na siyang kumita ng pera. Tapos, tinanong siya, what's your secret? Sabi niya, never break the chain. What's that? Sa calendar niya, meron siyang nilalagay na mark na X mark. Yung X mark na yan, every day, yun yung ano niya, yung way niya of knowing if he wrote a joke on that day. So every day he would write a joke and he never breaks that chain. Yung XXX niya dun sa calendar niya. Kasi pag na-break mo yung chain na yan, once, okay, sige once. Pero pag twice, 3 times na, it becomes a habit. And then before you know it, the chain has been broken. Haba ng sagot ko, no? Ang dami ko kasing gustong sabihin. So, yun lang, Bao.
Pero galing. I mean, bro, this podcast is all about us learning from you, and we yung mga books na nabasa mo, you're distilling it for us. Eh. So, ang galing. Dami ko na. I also read that part, not the part that he earns $1 million a month, but I read about that part where he does the chain in the book Atomic Habits by, oh man, I forgot who wrote it, but it's very good.
I also forgot the name of the author.
Cal Newport, was it? I think it was Cal Newport. Yeah, it's a very good book. I recommend it. Yeah. So we have a business question from Richard. He says, by the way, if you guys are wondering, I'm gonna look for the Mel Robbins TED Talk and I'm gonna put it in the Discord community, dun sa New Learnings na channel. So I'm gonna paste the link there so that we can all watch it. Now Richard is asking, hi. He says, hi. I started doing pasabay with the buy BUY pasabay kind of business by reselling products from overseas, such as IKEA, small items, and kid stuff. It's been a month since I'm doing this, and seems like there's no one who would like to buy from me. Any advice if you think this business is wrong? I'm an introvert, and somehow I'm asking people to buy my stuff, and it's really hard. It's really hard for me to ask people to buy my stuff.
Well, if you're shy about it, then you might be the best kept secret. Kasi sa ginagawa natin, it's the same. For example, with me as a speaker, I coach some financial advisors sa insurance, real estate. We have to get ourselves out there, including our business. You know the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But in this social media age, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, but it's who knows what you are doing or who knows what you know. The best way right now kasi is really social media, how you can study, yung mga Facebook ads, and have a good business, a good line of products. And there are many doing that now. Medyo nagiging mas saturated na siya, no? But kasi kailangan mag-attach ka ng ng narrative dun sa product mo eh. There has to be a story. In other words, for example, let's go back to speaking. Daming speaker eh. Why would I get Jayson Lo? Daming speaker, why would I get Sean C? But people would get us because of the narrative or our personal narrative that resonates with them. May isang website, ang pangalan niya significantobjects.com. Tapos yung mga items na ordinary items. Let's say a plastic banana. Have you seen that? Yung segue muna ako. Yung post na may nag-iwan ng parang lata or something or baso or salamin sa isang museum. Tapos naiwan doon, kala nila it's a piece of art. Grabe yung pagpipicture nila. Wow. Hindi nila alam, someone just left it there randomly. So, yung significant objects na plastic banana, ang price yan a few cents, but they were able to sell it ng $78. So, kumbaga, ang presyo niya wala pang 50 pesos, pero nabenta niya ng mga 4,000 pesos. And ang dami nilang mga items na ganun. It's just because of a narrative. Parang Supreme. Diba? T-shirt lang naman yung Supreme eh. Pero pag nariwan na ng Supreme na tatak, boom! Ayun na. Times 1,000 na yung presyo. Or yung mga well-known brands. So finding a way to create that narrative na kasi people don't buy you eh. People buys you. People don't buy your products eh. People buys you before they buy the product or they buy any opportunity. So you have to find a way to do that. And then para sa pagiging introvert mo, okay lang 'yan kasi social media lang naman, i-message mo lang naman sila. Yun din ang safety ngayon ng mga introverts. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. So you don't really have to talk to people, hey, kamusta? But you can just message them. And I don't, 'di ba? Kahit na introvert ka, it's more convenient doing that. You start with your warm market, message them, pakita mo yung mga products, tapos gawa ka ng narrative why this is better than other pasabays. Yung mga ganun. Tapos meron kang cat emoji doon, yung picture na nagmamakaawa, yung pumipikit-pikit, dadami yung sales mo niya.
Yung cat emoji yung sikreto eh. But yeah, no, galing. So what I got from that is storytelling. So storytelling is very important. How you tell the story about your product, what it does, the benefits, how you bought it, how difficult it is to get it. It could be from different angles. When you're the one telling the story follows you. So that is one way to differentiate yourself and to make your product more interesting. I couldn't believe that a plastic banana would sell for that much. It's just crazy,
Crazy.
you know. Pero galing, the power of storytelling. So Richard, that's one thing that you could try doing. Marketing is definitely something that you must do, and one of the best ways to market, especially when you're new in the industry, is storytelling. And after that, of course, you have to follow up with great customer service. You have to have promoters, people who bought from you that will share your story to other people so that they can also buy from you. Word of mouth marketing is still the best form of marketing today.
You know, Sean, I teach that in my speaking program. I'm sure you've heard of this, no? Yung storytelling, elevating it into story selling.
I haven't yet. I haven't yet.
Yeah. So you're doing story selling, and sometimes you don't even need to sell anymore. You sell without selling using the power of stories.
Parang kailangan ko yan. Kailangan ko maten dyan. Kailan ang next natin? No, galing, no? Pero yeah, if you're running some of your seminars, webinars, Jayson, let me know. We have the upcoming webinars channel in the Discord community, and I can put it there. one so we're already over time at 9:05 p.m., but I'm gonna go ahead and finish the questions if that's all right with you, Jason. Okay lang ba 'yon?
Yeah, of course. By the
I
way,
know I've gone
someone mentioned, I will follow Unique on Spotify. Si Patrick, hey, thank you. But the spelling of Unique is YOU, the unique life. So, yon, you can check it out on Spotify.
There you go. I'm gonna leave that in the chat box so that you can find it on Spotify, Patrick. So yeah, we have you for 8 to 9 p.m. But if you're okay with that, we're gonna finish the questions tonight for everyone to also benefit from your wisdom. The next question would be from Cedric Choa. If you weren't a good speaker initially and you considered it to be a weakness, so I think he's stemming from your answer earlier. Why did you still try to hone it? Did John Maxwell not mention that we should hone our strengths instead of our weaknesses?
Yeah. Well, speaking isn't really a weakness for me. But sa totoo lang, speaking kasi is a skill eh. It's a technical skill. You can learn it eh. Kahit na hindi ka magaling mag-speak. And there are many, hindi sila magaling mag-speak, but they're doing it out of necessity. And that's what happened to me. It was out of necessity because I needed to do it. Since we are part of a direct selling company, I had to present well, I have to speak well, and I learned it. And yung passion kasi, you become passionate about things that you are good at or you're good in. So, yung nagiging unti-unti akong getting better and better sa speaking. Then I started liking it. I started loving it. But generally, it wasn't really I wouldn't call it a weakness. It is more of a talent that I haven't discovered yet. And it took people to help me discover that. Kasi marami tayong mga ginagawa na bagay na we don't like naman doing. But we have to do it. Diba? For example, waking up early in the morning. I don't think people like to do that. But if you run a business and you have to wake up early, then you have to do it. In basketball, I don't think they want to lift weights. I don't think they want to practice. LeBron James and Steph Curry, they don't practice every day. They practice 2 to 3 times a day. Yung practice nila, weights, they don't like to do that. I don't think any sane human being would want to do that, but they have to. So nandun ako sa air na yon, sa line na yon. I'm also a strengths coach, by the way, strengths finder. I'm a certified strengths coach. So I know that we should be focusing on our strengths, but that's not that's not part of the strengths what that John Maxwell was talking about.
Yeah. So the strength spectrum, speaking is more of a skill. Tama, I agree with Jason. You learn it, you learn the ins and outs of it, the technicalities. It's a very broad skill. More of a weakness would be keeping to yourself or not wanting to grow and improve. I would say being stubborn about your comfort. Yan, for me, that's more of the weakness. No, and you have to work on that. From TJ, question is, hi, I'm planning to build a team here in the Philippines based on what skills I currently have. Something digital creatives like image editing, video editing, animation. Any advice on how I can successfully start if mag-start ako from scratch? Where do I get clients, legalities na pwedeng i-request ni clients abroad? Not sure if it does make sense. Hope you get it. Right?
If you're starting a business into this in this age, it might be better to do it if that's the business. I don't know if you're working or if you have something else on the side. Kasi ngayon, importante you build your portfolio first eh. Paano ka magkakaroon ng portfolio? It's either you do work for free or you do jobs na mababa yung PF nyo to build that portfolio. That's really a broad question, no? Kasi yung question mo, that's one seminar already. Mga 1 to 2 hours ang sagot diyan, including yung binanggit mo, legal, including marketing and all this stuff. But the best marketing, as Sean mentioned, is word of mouth. That's how you start in any business. So you talk to people in your warm list, and then you start getting recommendations. Don't get referrals, you call them recommendations. Kasi yung referral is, oy, refer mo naman ako dun sa tito ng tito mo ng kapitbahay nila na kamag-anak nila sa ganitong probinsya. Okay, sige, bibigay sa number, tawagan mo. I was referred by ni tito ni ganyan ni ganito. But if it's recommendation, they will connect you directly to that person, being the bridge. Oh, by the way, my friend is starting this ganyan. Di ba you need? Oh, I'm connecting you to him. This is ganyan. So meron siyang may bridge na nag-connect sa directly na tao. And from there, that's when you will find out kung ano yung mga services na kailangan ng mga clients mo. That's how most businesses start. It's really hit and miss. Lalo na yung sa'yo na very tight ng competition now sa mga ganyang klaseng businesses. And those people who will get you initially would be people that came from your warm list and mga recommendations. With regards to team naman, you mentioned you're planning to start a team. I actually spoke with one young entrepreneur and he's doing very well. He's like 27 years old. Sabi niya, Jayson, when I read your book, YOUnique, the 4 personality types, it gave me an aha moment na, okay, kaya pala tong mga tao ko hindi nag-work pa ganyan kasi ganito yung personality type niya, yung kanyang behavior, ganito. So ever since now, he learned that, he read the book, he taught it, he instructed his team na ito yung gagawin natin. Nakatulong sa kanya. So makikita mo what type of person you are and probably what type of entrepreneur you can be based on your personality. Just a clue, Sean is a high dominant.
Yeah. It's nice hearing me speak here, but if you work for me, it's different. But yeah, no. So really good stuff from Jayson there. I do have an advice for you. Legalities for clients abroad. You don't have to worry about that if you can accept payment through, for example, PayPal. If you don't like, even if you have a contract here, even if you have a legally binding entity here, but they're gonna be signing it from all the way from the USA, and they don't have a legal entity here to represent them, to bind them to your contract, they can just up and leave. They can just opt not to pay you. So it's quite tricky if you're a freelancer, or even if you're a business and you're going to be doing work for companies abroad and you don't have a legal entity there, or you don't have an organization there who can represent you. It's difficult to, when things get dirty or messy. It's difficult that way. But if you have a mutual agreement, you both respect each other, you do great work, they pay you on time, then you don't have any problems there. um, how you can successfully start. What Jayson said about the portfolio, 100% agree, especially because you're going to start a services business. So, how I started with SEO, I had my God the New blog when I started out. The articles are still up. You can find it in my Sean.c website. So, I wrote a lot of articles about my faith, my journey in God as a single Christian man during that time, and I made sure that I rank for the keywords that I wanted. And that's that I actually learned SEO because no one was reading my stuff. And I wanted people to read my stuff. So it's kind of baliktad, no? So I had to learn SEO because my blog was not getting any traffic. And my blog was actually my first portfolio. My first client was Scuba World. This is the biggest scuba diving company in the Philippines during that time. And believe it or not, wala akong portfolio nun. So when the owner asked me, "Oh, can I see past work?" I said, "Well, if it's okay for you to show to for me to show you my personal blog, then yeah, sure." And sabi niya, "Sige, show me the personal blog." So I showed him. As funny as it sounds, right now I cannot believe, no, looking back, I can't believe I did that. I really can't. Parang ang sobrang sobrang supot ng ginawa ko. Pero it worked. I landed the deal, and that's my first client. It's good money, and that's what I used to grow the business. So you also have to have some guts now when you pitch.
May
Like
ano,
Jayson, introvert.
may pasyente. Sabi niya, kinakabahan ako, Doc. Unang operasyon ko to. Sabi ng doktor, OMG, same tayo.
Mahirap yung ganun. Baka lalong kabahan yung pasyente. But yeah, so hope you learned from that, no, TJ. We have a follow up question from Cedric Choa.
I have a question for you. Was SEO your passion when you were starting?
SEO was SEO my passion when I started. What During that time I had no idea what SEO is. But when I figured it out, I found that it's something that I love doing. And that's because the facets of SEO, medyo tricky ang SEO eh. Kasi yung facets niya, mahirap makahanap ng isang tao na meron lahat yun. SEO is all about code. It's all about writing or the psychodynamics of how people search, which is search intent, keywords, reading. And then the third one is marketing, which is you're good in drawing in people, creating buzz, making sure other websites link to you as a source. So yung dalawa pa lang medyo mahirap na eh. It's hard to find a person really good in tech, code, can read code, can understand and edit code. And it's also good in writing, good in communicating, good in psychodynamics. I haven't found person yet who can do that very well, uh, and and um and hire that person outright. We usually have to train these people, and then
How
it's hard to
long?
find.
How long did you take? How long did it take you to discover that it's something that you love?
It was quick, I would say. It's fairly
Hmm?
quick because I love computer games. You guys know I was a
Mm.
Dota addict. I love competition, and guess what? SEO is extremely competitive because you're trying to rank against a million, 10 million other websites out there, and you're trying to rank on the top 10 spots. You're not trying to rank for like top 100 because no one cares if you're not on the first page. So I love that game. That's a part of SEO that I really love. Na parang pag nagra-rank ka first page, parang, uy, nasa first page ako, and you start getting traffic, you start getting inquiries. It's just different. It's amazing. So that's what I love about it. I figured that it out pretty fast. Yeah.
Mm.
So the next question is from Cedric Choa. Again, I think this is a follow up question for you. Was there ever a time you relayed false information or committed a grammatical error during a speaking event? I sometimes want to be a great speaker too, but I fear that I might commit those mistakes. Accidentally relayed wrong information. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you speak for an hour, 2 hours, one day. Sometimes I speak for two days. Talagang magkakamali ka ng sometimes grammatical error, and I've had a lot of epic failures in speaking. Many. I mean, you wouldn't grow in any profession, any business if you don't commit mistakes. But yung failure kasi is not your foe. Failure is your friend. As long as you don't commit the same failures over and over, and make same mistakes over and over again. And sa mga speaking engagements ko na I committed some mistakes. Until today, I remember them. But those na those that I was highly successful in. Uh, some of them I forgot already. Pero yung mga failures, nag-stick siya sa akin. So yung mga grammatical errors, okay lang yun. Kakamali naman tayo lahat eh. And just come in prepared. For mga information naman, you have to really do your homework. You have to do your homework. And I've had some mistakes also regarding that in the past, I think. Not that someone corrected me, but it happens. Just be open to it and move on. Yun naman yung sikreto dyan. Tsaka importante if you wanna speak, the best way is to really look for mentors. Look for people who can help you cut the learning curve in so many ways. Cut it in half, 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 because that's one thing that really, um, it was one of those bottlenecks for me. No one really taught me how to do it, and no one taught me hacks. I had to learn it on my own. So that's why I made it part of my mission also to teach what I learned to some next generation speakers that I have encountered. So yeah,
Actually, one of the things but that I learned from, I think I learned this from you, Jason, because if you didn't know, I attended his nodal moment. Was it the
yeah, online.
webinar? I attended your webinar, and then I also heard you speak on it live. I had the opportunity to do that way before, and then I remember also you sat twice, you sat in twice in different times, no, that I spoke and gave him some feedback. That was really helpful. So I do agree. Get mentors, get friends to help you out. Jason was really helpful for me because he's a master public speaker. So whatever he says is gold for me. Of course, don't get people who don't know public speaking to comment on your public speaking, diba? So get people who know more than you, who has more experience than you.
Lahat
Um,
na ng master was once a disaster. So kaya master kasi puno-puno ng disaster. You wanna hear some blooper stories? I
yeah.
have so many. We would finish in like 2 hours if I just share one in particular. One talk I had in Jollibee, I mentioned that my favorite fast food is KFC. So yung mga ganon, kasi there was one part of my speech that was really scripted. Nakalimutan kong i-edit. Tapos there was one conference, 4,000 people. 4,000. I spoke for an hour. Nag-speak ako, tapos, ano siya, church event. Di ganda. Ata, no? Pagbaba ko ng stage, tinanong ko yung wife ko, so how was it? Sabi niya, it's good, maganda siya, pero meron ko lang isang mali. Sabi ko, ano yun? Kasi ang verse ko was in Psalm 78 yata. Nilagay ko dun sa slide ko, Proverbs 78. So kung alam mo yung Bible, ang Proverbs hanggang 31 lang. Umabot ako ng
Yes.
78. Akit ako ng after ko mag-speak, may praise and worship. Kumanta sila for like 3 minutes. Tapos pinaakit ako ulit to pray. Sabi ko, everyone, God is not looking for perfect people. You and I are not perfect. And if you noticed, I flashed on my slide there, Proverbs 78. There's no Proverbs 78. I made a big mistake in front of all of you, and that's a good example. Tapos yung na maniobra, no? Pagbaba ko ng stage, tapos na, may mga lumapit sa akin. Sir, sinadya mo ba na mali yung
To check, to check. Nakikinig ba kayo?
Oo, sinadya mo ba na mali yung verse? 4,000 people yun na, turuin mo. Buti na lang yung pagkakamali ko, sobrang blatant talaga, na alam mong hindi ko sinasadya na mali siya.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tapos kinash ko yung screen na yun, yung slide na yun, 3 times, Proverbs 78. So sobrang adrenaline ko, binabasa ko pa siya. Okay, Proverbs 78.
Oh, nga, minsan you're in the zone, you just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so encouraging to hear that someone who is as I have to use the word great and experienced as you committed those mistakes, you're honest about it, and you know for those of you listening in tonight, that's how you become better. A lot of people look at look at successful people on top of their mountain. And I know I've said this before in previous podcast episodes. You see people on the top of their game, on the top of their mountain, but you don't see that the dead bodies under the mountain. And those dead bodies are their failures, made up of their own dead bodies. And it's what helps you to climb up. Eh. Otherwise, you can't be successful. You can get by. You can get by, but not find success. That's the truth. So maybe I'll close with this last question. Medyo mahirap from Patrick Miguel. And by the way, they followed you now on YouTube and on Spotify already.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And the question is, what are the best values you live by?
Best values would be number one is trustworthiness. So trustworthy is a combination of character and competence. People will trust you if you are honest, but people will trust you also if you are competent. And if you're not competent, then you won't be considered someone who's trustworthy. So yun yung isa ko, trustworthiness. Pangalawa, of course, yung values na ano na God first in anything. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as if working for the Lord and not for men. And another value for me is I am a forever a learner. That's why I don't people call me an expert in what I do, but for me, an expert is someone who is a student forever. So that's me. I will be a student forever. Like the story of Jigoro Kano, the one who created the discipline judo. When before he died, he told his students to put a white belt on him, signifying it's a symbol that he will forever be a student, or a master is forever a student. So those are three things that I live by as part of my values. Kumbaga yung trustworthiness is I'll be excellent in what I do, and I will do my best to honor God in everything that I do.
Galing. Thank you, brother, for your time tonight. We really appreciate it. We learned a lot. I think we're better for it. And I'm gonna end the stream here. So for those of you watching on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch, you can join us in the Leadership Stack community over at Discord, where we're gonna have cocktails. Ne, joke lang. So we're just gonna chat around there in the lounge, and we have some stuff here in the chat box where I would like to discuss that a little bit, and you can join us there. The link is down here from the channel.c/discord. Sign up; it's free. You can join us there, and yeah, this is Thursday, 8 p.m. every week. Put it in your Google Calendar, Outlook, whatever. And I hope you can join us again next week. Jason, thank you. I'm going to end the broadcast here. So, yeah.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me, Sean. And congratulations. You're the most one of the most masipag na podcasters.
Magaling yung team. Magaling yung team. That's what I can say. Masipag kasi ito lang yung ginagawa ko. I just do the fun stuff. I talk, I interview, I learn, I enjoy, and all the post production, it's all them. And ang galing nila. Yun
Wow.
lang masabi ko. Galing nila. All right. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.